fellow nerds, we are talking the 3 episode premiere of Gen V. Dropped on Prime Video last Thursday. I was able to watch all 3 episodes. I rather enjoyed it. There's a lot happened. I always like that. I don't know why Prime Video does it this way, but they always do like multi-episode premieres. It's usually 3, like The Boys did 3. Now Gen V is doing 3. Wheel of Time does it. And it's good because it really gets you kind of engrossed in the story. Like if it would have just been...
I think that's why, too.
Because if it was just would have been the first episode got you,
Mm-hmm.
I probably wouldn't have been like, I guess I'll catch it next week, whatever.
Agreed.
But I think the second and third episode really started to pull me in a little bit. Like, okay, this isn't just a cash, them trying to cash in on the boy's name. They actually a little substance here.
So that's what I think about, and you know that I've made this pretty clear about a lot of Disney Plus shows. I really think that a lot of them could be, they could drop 2 or 3 episodes or something all at once. And I think in some cases they should. Like, for instance, I think what worked in Andor's favor was dropping the first 2 episodes at once. Andor was great, but I don't know if just the first episode alone, which was mostly a lot of going back and forth to kind of tell you about Cassian's past, I don't know if I would have been completely hooked by that. But seeing the 2 back to back, see now that, that hooked me, sorry to borrow this from you, Dave, that reeled me in. But yeah, there's a lot of shows that I think would do a lot better and they would garner a larger audience if they dropped 2 or 3 episodes at the same time, because you're telling more of a complete story, especially in streaming where a lot of these shows, they're made as one giant piece that's supposed to be watched almost continuous. They're not made the same way. They're not made where it's got a start, middle, and end, and then that's the end of this week. Come join us next week for this sitcom where we kind of reset everything. Like, it's not made like that. It's made like as one large story that they're telling over a period of time, and they want you to stop, have that cooler moment, and then come back.
Yep.
But yeah, I agree with you, Keith, that if I had just seen the first episode of Gen V, I don't think it would have really hooked me. I think it would have been like, probably kind of a cash grab. They're just trying to, use the boy's name.
And I think another show that does that very well, what you were saying, Doug, The
Mhm.
Bad Batch. They do it so well. If they have a story to tell, they'll throw 2 of them out on the same week.
Yeah, I agree.
That should be more commonplace. But yeah, I wasn't struck by this series like you guys were. I found the first episode to be it was kind of boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, all right, because there was a lot of the boys type of shock effects, grotesqueness,
Like how she lost her parents.
Yeah, everything like that. And I can't remember, was this the episode where the girl shrunk down and got on that guy's peen, or was that the second episode?
No, that
I
was
think
the
it was
second one.
yeah.
Yeah, just stuff like that. It's just like they're, in the first episode where it was just gross. I get it. The boys, the whole series is gross, but it
Mhm.
seems like they're capitalizing on that. They focus on that a lot. And
Well, I do definitely want to talk about that. Do you guys want to split this up as like talk about just the good and then move on to the bad, or kind of do a mix of both at the same time?
We can just do whatever comes natural. We can jump to the
I
end.
have notes.
we
As
can
do I.
freestyle it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, while we're talking about that, then I will bring up some of the things that I didn't like as much, because while I did like these first 3 episodes overall, one of the things that I think is going to hurt it in the long run is exactly what you're talking about, Dave, is that reliance of kind of sticking to the boys' themes, I guess, not so much themes, but like their style of storytelling, where they have to do a lot of gross out, they have to do a lot of what's really going to push it, and it seemed a lot of tonal whiplash, where the boys, they kind of stick throughout all of the episodes. It sticks with that dark humor throughout, like really at no point, it doesn't ever get super serious. Like,
Right.
even the when they're talking about a serious topic, they tell it in a kind of a funny, goofy way. Like even the whole thing, like where in the first episode of The Boys, where the he's standing there holding the arms of his girlfriend that just got obliterated by a speedster.
Train.
They told it in like this weird dark humor way. And but that was how the entire series so far, these couple of seasons, that's how the whole thing was told.
Yeah.
Whereas Gen V, there's a couple of moments in these episodes where they really switch the tone and they're trying to get like really serious. Like, oh, we've got to get serious for a minute. Let's talk about what's going on here. There's some deep-seated things happening here. This is a mystery and we need to solve it. And then all of a sudden they'll switch and be like, hey, here's a little girl hanging off of Big Peen. And it's like, wow, I've got some like tonal whiplash here going on. I think that might not work out for it, at least in my opinion.
There's definitely that tonal thing. But can I tell you what my favorite joke on all 3 episodes was?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Was when they're like, Queen Maeve was ranked number 1. A-Train was ranked number 1. The Deep, number 6. he always gets like,
the
kind
Deep
of like,
ranked number 6.
It was they briefly talked about it, and I was just cracking up, and they didn't hit it again. I'm like, oh, that's great. They're always, then when the Deep had his little speech during the thing, I got this, and I'm just like, oh my god, that guy who plays him so well, thinking he's a very intelligent person when he's clearly not, and it's done so well.
I will say this though, on the good side of things, they do keep it well within the realm of The Boys. Like you can tell this exists in the same world, the same universe as The Boys, but they keep it subtle enough, right? Like they'll mention a character here, or they'll show another character there. Or they'll be like, "This is the Lamplighter Crime Fighting Institute," or whatever, and it's like it's a little nod to the larger Boys universe. But they're not like shoving all of these other characters in your face. These are new characters that are able to stand on their own, doing their own thing, telling their own story. Again, like I said, they're not always telling it in the best way, but it is their own story, and I do appreciate that.
No, you're right. They're not having like Homelander fly overhead,
Exactly.
or silly stuff like that. And I hope it sticks to that, because they have done a great job of letting you know this is in the Boys universe without just throwing it constantly in your face. It's been a good job, and the whole. I kind of took this as I was watching it. You hear about the woods. As soon as I heard, oh my god, I forgot his name, Luke.
Yeah.
Golden Boy, when he's having these nightmares about the woods and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, it's going to be a mystery. This is going to be like almost a Nancy Drew type thing, or it's going to be these young kids having to solve this mystery. It's like a Harry Potter where, oh, we're the students, but we have to kind of sneak around and do all this stuff. And I thought for the most part they did a very good job at handling that. They didn't give us too much information. We learn a little bit each week. It seems like so far we have, but we still don't know fully what's going on. Well, it's been 3 episodes. So, we find out like one thing I don't think I will ever forgive them for is, spoiler warning, everybody, Clancy Brown's character being murdered in the first episode. I mean, I think we all agree we stand him. And man,
Clancy Brown is a great actor, a great voice actor. And how dare you make me dislike him as essentially a villain?
And then remove him immediately.
Remove him that quick. You wasted Clancy Brown. That's such a waste of a Clancy Brown. Our environment is so short of Clancy Browns. All right, everybody knows you're supposed to reuse and recycle your Clancy Browns. Don't just throw them away.
Ahsoka did kind of the same thing. They had him on the first show, and we haven't seen him since. But they didn't kill him, so
he may come back.
He still could come back. Yeah.
And they set him up if they ever have another series on Lethal. Maybe we'll get some more Clancy Brown.
Well, Lethal seems like, I don't want to go drifting into Star Wars land, so let me just reel myself in here.
There you go. Good job.
I'm back.
But
you didn't want to immediately switch to tangent time?
Nope. I reeled myself in. I pumped the brakes.
Good job. One of the things I was worried about when I was watching the first episode was her with the whole, I don't have a phone, I don't have this or that. And I'm like, I hope this isn't a theme throughout the whole thing. But I thought they transitioned pretty well. They just handed her a phone, said, "Here's all your stuff," and now
Yeah.
she's kind of up to, you know, on a
Up to
level
speed on,
playing
like,
field.
figured it out pretty quick.
Yeah, it wasn't a
And what's her
theme
name?
throughout the 8 episodes.
The CEO, I forget her name.
Oh, the CEO or
The original one, who appeared in the first season.
Oh, not Elizabeth
Stillwell.
Shue. Not her.
Oh, the
one who was
dean of the
CEO.
school or whatever? Or the
Yeah, the
CEO
girl
of
who-
Vought?
CEO of Vought. I was just asking. You'll know who I mean when I say, wasn't she losing her hair?
Yeah,
thought-
but then she was wearing a wig.
Was that a wig? Okay.
In the show, in The Boys, she would put a wig on whenever she had to make a public appearance. Yeah,
So she's wearing a wig on this show.
probably.
Okay. Because I just remember that being a thing. And if seems like it's running concurrently, I thought it was going to be a prequel, but it seems like it's running concurrently.
I think it's after the season 3 because they talk about Starlight leaving the Seven.
Yep.
Because, I think it takes place
Mhm.
after season 3 because they said they're talking about Queen Maeve. Obviously, they don't know that she, survived that. They're talking about Starlight leaving because, they're all wanting to join the Seven, not, knowing what actually goes on there, which, of course, they wouldn't. That's something.
That's the other thing that I do want to bring up that I haven't been a fan of the series so far, and I think this boils down to the tone. I don't know if this was an issue with like multiple writers, and maybe there was not a good communication between them or something, or maybe this is like a clashing of two different versions of the script or something. But you're introduced pretty quick on that almost everybody in this school is exactly like all of the other superheroes, all the other soups, where they're being taught that they have to constantly be monitoring social media. They have to have good numbers. They have to be seen. And they're going to either go and be a superhero. And they seem to have the idea, most of them anyway, they seem to have the idea that if you go on the superhero track, you're literally just doing publicity stunts. Or you can go into the acting track and you can act in superhero movies. And it seems like most of them are aware of that, except for our main character. She doesn't seem to be aware. That's why I said in our chat with each other, she seems to be like the starlight of this, but it's more in depth. And I kind of wish that we had gotten that in The Boys with her character. And I feel like we're finally getting that now because I feel like she's very similar to Starlight in that where she's very naive. She thinks that superheroes are actually superheroes. But they would go back and forth where in one scene they showed all of them surprised and shocked. Oh my gosh, I was injected with a chemical. I wasn't born with these superpowers. But then in like the next scene, oh man, my numbers are down. I got to get an Instagram up or something. It's like, what are they going for? Like, do they know that they're BS or do they not?
I don't think as students they necessarily know that the superheroing gig is BS for the most part.
Okay.
Because I think they would lose a lot of student motivation to do it. So I do think they're constantly hit with the, hey, you want to be top 10, you got to have a good Q rating, you got to have, enough followers, because they do harp on that all the time. Like,
yeah, they do.
Oh, you have 1 million followers. That's great. I love your cute little videos. They're so nice. And it's like all of that. I don't want to call it underhanded compliment. What's
It kind of is though.
Yeah, like a backhanded compliment. I was like, oh man, these people, there's some of them, I'm just like, I can't wait to hate you.
And that's actually a great segue because that was the other thing that bothered me a little bit about this. And maybe things are different now, but it seemed like most of the backhanded compliments that people were getting, or the pranking or the bullying and stuff, it seemed very high school to me. This is supposed to be a college. Does this stuff happen in college too? And I'm just unaware of this because it never occurred to me.
I'm sure it does in some places. It certainly didn't when I was there. But I think that they are pushed to be like that because the way that superheroes are in this world and the way they want to keep them, they don't want them thinking too much for themselves. So they keep them sort of, hey, make sure your Instagram is doing well. Make sure this. Okay. Because as long as they're not critically thinking about what's actually going on, because they still think, only a few soups get to protect a city. And that's a big responsibility, not knowing that it's all complete BS. And it's like, hey, you got to go to the docks at 7. And
Yeah.
I was gonna say, granted, I didn't live in any dorms and I didn't join any fraternities or anything, so like maybe I missed an entire thing that was going on that I was just totally unaware of. I showed up, I went to class, I went home. Or I went to my part-time job. That was that was my college experience. I didn't really do much else.
Did you binge drink?
Oh, all the time.
Okay, good. Yeah, then that's about the normal experience.
Yeah, don't leave that out.
Oh, damn it. I had something and now I forgot it.
Oh. So overall, I will say that, like I said, I did like most of what they were doing in the series. They did kind of hook me, but didn't hook me at the same time. So I do want to know what's going on. I do want to find out, what's happening. I think I've basically more or less figured it out. Like, obviously they don't know what to do with these sort of reject soups. So they just kind of like lock them up and deal with them, which I it seems more likely. I'm actually kind of surprised. I feel like Vought being the mustache twirling villains they are, I almost feel like they'd put them out of their misery and just like kill them all, but surprisingly they're keeping them locked up for some reason. But the reason why I said it hooked me but it didn't, the other thing, and again, this could have to do with the tone, could be the script, I don't know, the one thing that I liked about the first season, well, I guess all of the seasons so far of The Boys, is Huey is constantly normal. He's sort of the person that is the audience. What is it called? That's not symbiote. He's there to represent the audience in the show, right? So every time like something horrifying happens, he freaks out accordingly. Like the first time he saw a person blow up in front of him, he obviously was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe this happened." When he had to blow up, what's his name, the invisible dude, Translucent.
Oh, Translucent.
Yeah, when he blew up Translucent, he freaked out accordingly, as he should. But this last episode 3, sorry, spoilers if we're gonna spoil this for you, when Tiny Tim there busts through the dude's ear, and she's just like, "Ew, gross," and it's like, you just murdered a dude, you're swimming in his blood. I feel like you should be reacting a bit more. How many people have you killed?
Yeah, there's been a ton of blood in this, like when Golden Boy killed himself.
Which I expect, but I also expect you to act normal about it.
No, you're right. There has been nobody who's been our anchor in this thing to, Marie, I can understand. She deals with blood all the time, so maybe it doesn't affect her, but everyone else just seemed like, oh, just another day.
This is just normal.
Soup blew themselves up and head of the school.
Yeah.
And okay, let's just carry on. They're sweeping it up, and even his girlfriend was just kind of like, oh, I'm sad. He was a good guy. He had great parents. So what are we doing?
Yeah, so let's go get a shake or something.
Right. No, let's go get all of the drugs.
And, talking about, the woods and what it's there for, I really hope, because my first thought too is, okay, they're just keeping kind of the non-conformist soups there, the ones that won't play their game. And I really hope it's something else, because that's almost too easy. I mean, I bet the majority of people, that was their first thought. I'm hoping it's something way worse.
Way darker than that?
Way darker than that. Have like, they're trying to do something with the compound V to make it stronger or better, doing genetic experiments, to try to get more that are Homelander-like, or, something.
That could be.
Something that's more than just locking up the bad soups.
It would make more sense too, because like I said, it surprised me that Vought would bother. It doesn't seem like something they would do. Like, it seems like it would be too expensive for them to bother hanging on to these kids that clearly aren't going to work out, aren't going to be the money-making soups that they thought they would be. So, I was a little bit surprised. I'm like, oh, so these people that they can't do anything with. They're not, they're not going to go down any sort of special track for being a soup or being, an actor or anything. They're just keeping them kind of locked up and dosed on medicine. And it's like, but why? So yeah, I do hope you're right, Keith. I hope that it is something other than they don't know what else to do with them. Like, yeah, it would be great if they were trying to. What if, okay, theory time. What if this is something that Homelander requested? Because we know that he's been kind of turning the wheel of the direction that Vought has been going in. He's really, really put his foot down as far as like what they do and don't do. I wonder if he's pushing forward further with his supervillain program. And what if he's trying to experiment on these kids or have Vought experiment on these kids to develop new villains for him?
I like it. And it does seem like they are doing some sort of therapy because Sam.
Dave, you gonna reel that in?
No.
Okay.
Sam was very much when Cricket was in the room with him and she's like, we're going to get you out. He's like, no, I really shouldn't be out. Bad things can happen or whatever. I know I'm safe in here. I'm like, okay, they've done some messing with his mind to make him actually believe that. And I think we're going to see him slowly come to the realization that they've been, what's the term?
Yeah, they've really doped him up.
Yeah, doped him up and just kind of confused, brainwashed him, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to find out, because there's a lot of cells down there. I was paying attention when they were walking through and feeding. We had the one fire girl, and there are a lot of cells down there. So there's a lot of people that are potentially down there. And it's more than just, a brother of the, Golden Boy, the number one ranked kid at the time.
Yeah, they built that entire structure just to hold one dude.
yeah.
I'd like to see, and tell me if I'm wrong, Stan Edgar on this series.
If it fits the story.
Nice.
I mean, it would kind of show that like he's still involved. He didn't have to have a big part. Just show up, even name drop would be all right with me. To show that he's still out there and he still could come back. And I think he's got something on Homelander that nobody else knows.
And it really could be once I got the feeling that the information about the woods is going to kind of come out. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy and Fred and all. And
Scooby-Doo this shit.
And Daphne are all going to figure out what's going on. And it's going to get released. And he may have to come there and speak and say, listen, this is, we're keeping people down there. They have issues. We know that, and try to do a little publicity, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I almost said gerrymandering, but we kind of put a little spin on this whole thing to try to make it look good for Vought. So yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll see Stan Edgar here. And anytime we get to see Giancarlo Esposito, it's always a good thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But while we're doing theories, I have a theory too.
Okay.
I think Kate is in on the whole Woods thing, and she's a part of
with her ability to push thoughts into people's heads.
I think she's the one who pushed Golden Boy over the edge.
Mm.
And she, is always seems to be around, and she wants to be a part of this, and then all of a sudden kind of hooking up with Andre, knowing that Andre was going to kind of not drop this and try to figure out what happened to his friend. All of a sudden she's getting close to him to make sure she can keep an eye on it. I think she knows what's going on and is working with the school or Stan Edgar or Vought or somebody to try to keep them from finding out what's going on.
I was thinking the same thing. I think it's either one of two things. Either you are right and she is involved and she's probably using her powers to manipulate the situation. Because I don't know how the two brothers were, mentally connected. I don't think either of them really showed having any sort of telekinetic abilities. But like it seemed like Sam was calling out to Golden Boy. And he was having dreams about the woods, and he was like, but also at the same time, at one point, he was convinced that his brother was dead. But then in the flashback, it looked like it had happened maybe the year prior. So I'm wondering if they told Kate that she had to push this into his head. Your brother is dead. Don't worry about your brother. Don't look for your brother. He's dead.
Yeah, and his his own psyche was kind of pushing against that, because even though she's powerful, pushing those thoughts into someone's head,
That's what I was thinking too.
You're going to get pushback, and I don't trust her one bit.
Aren't the droids you're looking for?
Oh, these aren't the droids we're looking for. Okay, move on.
Danny, those are the droids.
The other
Why
thing
are
that
you
kind
letting
of
them go?
the other thing that made me
It's a
wonder
hard
about
one,
that was the night of the gala, when she had mentioned, yeah, I pushed too much. And who else? Because she mentioned that she did push to be able to get admission into the gala so she could get some drinks and everything. But who else and for what reason?
And I thought it was also very, very good timing on her part that she passed out before they got down into the woods. Like, she went there, she knew it had to look good, but she had to stop him from getting down there because she didn't know about him sending Cricket. And when she found out, she was like, "What did you do, Andre? You said you would stop." And so he did it outside of her sphere of influence, and she wasn't happy about it. She wants to keep them away from anything that's going on there, and I think it's going to come to a head here sometime soon.
Now, how many episodes is this show?
8. There'll be 8 first season.
And we already have 3, so we got 5 more weeks.
I remember what I wanted to say.
Oh, okay.
Cricket and her mom, when they were talking to Courtney Fortney.
Mom's the worst.
Yes. And I loved the fact that instead of her being like, "Oh, yes, we should do that. That'd be such a good opportunity for me," she's like, No, this is a terrible idea. I'm not liking this at all. It's like capitalizing, on her fame, for lack of a better word, because of what came out in that video.
On the unfortunate way that she has to activate her powers.
Yes. And I was like, good for her, because I thought for sure she'd be like, yeah, let's do it, and then come to regret it later. So I'm glad she's kind of standing up for herself. And
yes, I am too.
Because we've seen her kind of just give in to, some guy goes, "Oh, I love your videos. You're so cute." She shrinks down to, take care of business for him. Like Dave was talking about earlier. And I was like, I hope she grows. And I think we're starting to see that process.
You hope she grows.
You hope she grows.
Dave and I both caught that. Yeah, no, I am glad that she did point out like the sort of hypocrisy of that all. Like, you know what you're doing. It's like you're using this situation, you're making it sound like I've got an eating disorder, and she's like, I don't have an eating disorder. It's literally the only way to activate my powers. I am in control, and you're making it sound like I'm not. Even her own mother was like, well, honey, you just have to. And she's like, no, Mom, if anything, you're trying to turn this into an eating disorder. It's not, and it never has been.
Because her mom wants the attention.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, didn't she say that she used to work for the Vault Shopping Network or something?
Yeah, she did. And she's no longer there, so she's doing just like every other parent in this thing.
Just trying to live vicariously through her daughter.
Yeah, like Starlight's mom.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like Huey's dad. Oh, wait, no.
Yeah, Huey's dad was cool.
Huey's dad was cool.
I know.
He's cool. He's just timid.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had to fight a bunch of zombies. You get it.
I do like that shared
just
universe.
Want to hang out at the pub.
I love that
guy has
shared
been
universe.
to the world's end. You gotta take it.
And I do love that they're pushing Marie a little bit because they think they can manipulate her better than some of the other kids. Like the whole, whether it actually happened or not, but the interviewer going, "Oh, we emailed your sister. She said she doesn't want to do anything with you." And that kind of took her totally off her game. No, I don't either. And I'm like, okay, they know that this is kind of a girl who's grown up in a foster home all of her life, hasn't had access to some of these other not not as savvy as a lot of these other kids, and that's one of the main reasons she's being pushed, up the rankings and everything else. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like the way they're handling all of that. Her trying to win her sister's respect and get her family back is a nice motivation for a character here, instead of her just being, I killed my parents, I got to be the best of the best.
And you notice they're also trying to play it both ways too. Like the dean, I guarantee it was the dean that passed that information onto the interviewer. What was her name? Courtney Portney or something like that?
Idrea Shetty.
No, like her.
Oh, the girl. It's Marie Moreau.
No, so the woman who's doing the interview, she had like a name, I thought, or the name of her show was like the same. It was rhyming. I remember that.
Oh yeah, what was it?
So I thought it was like Courtney Portney or like Shirley Burley or something like that. I don't know.
Well, there was a Courtney Fortney.
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Because she was the one who wanted to do the show with Cricket.
Okay, so it was two different people.
No, I think she was also running the interview.
Okay.
But not doing the interview.
All
I
right.
can't remember the lady's name who did the interview, the blonde girl. But I think you're right. I think Courtney Fortney and the dean were both.
Yeah, I guarantee they were
together.
in on it. Because then you notice that the dean was like, oh, that blonde bitch, I can't believe that she did that. And it's like, you come on now, because she literally just told you, she broke down and she told you, no, the real reason why I want to do this, the real reason why I want to be a superhero is to prove to my sister that I'm not a monster. So I guarantee the dean took that and she was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we need. This is how we manipulate her.
Yep.
We're going to play her off of against each other. We're going to have, both sides sort of really keep pushing her to do whatever we want. And she keeps apologizing to everybody. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. They're I didn't really want this. And it's like, yeah, but I think part of you does.
Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be here if you didn't.
And she's always saying, "Oh, you brought me here for damage control. I handle these situations. We've only had one." She's like, we've had no suicide since the Compound V stuff came out. And she's like, well, you had one. I was like, but she is one of the people who.
Heath, I just noticed the chat is popping up there. That's nice.
Oh,
that's what I was gonna say. Sierra and I assume Nysith are there together.
All right, very cool.
We're here. Thank you, Sierra and Nysith, if you're out there too. Welcome. We're talking Gen V, if you happen to see it yet. It's good, not great. I think it's worth a watch. Dave kind of found it a little boring, and it does. It's definitely not as good as The Boys. I think that's one of the things. If you are a huge fan of The Boys, this is not to that level, but it's still pretty interesting. And they could still blow it though. I keep thinking, like we talked about a little while ago, if they go the route of, we're just locking up some soups down here because they're bad, and that's what we do, it could take a turn for the worse here. But so far,
locking up soups. The soups are bad. Okay. Lock up soups.
No soup for you.
No soup for you.
Boy, we're really dating ourselves.
We've been through it all.
Yes, we have. Any other? Should we? I don't know if you guys have anything more to say. I don't think.
No, I ran through everything that.
Yeah, we talked about Kate. Yeah. We talked about the
ran
Woods.
The train on his list.
Oh, and I do like one of the other things. I do like the Andre and his father. I can't remember. He's like Prosperity or something. I can't remember I kind of like their relationship because, Andre is very much, we got to do it this way. I want to make him proud, but he's also realizing that his dad's.
I got to do the right thing.
Yeah, his dad's a company man through and through, though. And I think he's going to slowly figure that out over the course of the season because he respects his dad and he wants to, do good in his eyes. But I think he's going to come to figure out that he may be too far gone into the Vought machine as it is to really recover. Or it'll be him bringing him out of it, by the end of it. So we'll see.
So his dad is a former Soup, right?
Yes.
So what is the over under? What are your thoughts on him having to face off against his dad.
Ooh, I hadn't thought about that.
It's gonna be like a Luke Vader situation.
Mm-hmm.
I won't fight you.
I've heard
But
that
in true
before.
boys fashion, he'll probably have to blow his dad's head up or something.
Well, I don't know if you saw in one of the trailers, Head Popper's in it. Head Popper is in this season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw a little flash. They showed her in a what do you call it? An ad or whatever. Like they referenced her, but I don't know. Is she actually going to appear in the season?
She is.
Oh, no kidding. Well, all right.
So that'll be interesting. Knowing, isn't she? If I remember
Ugh.
correctly, she's running a committee or not a committee, but a task force on soups, and that's she brought Huey in and all that stuff. So it'll be interesting if she comes in to investigate, what's going on, knowing full well what the woods is all about, or investigating Andre or Marie or one of those, or pulling Kate out because they figure out that she's been manipulating them the whole time.
Right. It's been a while since we watched the last season of The Boys, and I haven't gone back and rewatched it in a minute. Huey did find out that she's a head popper, right?
He did.
Oh yeah.
I thought so.
About 3 or 4 episodes in.
Man, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch The Boys.
Oh man, terrible.
Well,
news.
yeah,
I'll
that'd
probably
be
ask
rough.
you too.
Dude, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you could do that. I mean, what is the next season coming out in June? I think.
Did they give it?
June
I know it's
2024.
2024. I don't know if they've given
To
a month
me,
yet.
It's getting a little frustrating with. They're not the only show doing it, but it's like 8 episodes every 2 years. All right, man, you got to be a little more productive than that. I mean, yeah, it takes time to come up with good stories, but put more people on it then, because 8 shows every 2 years it's not fair.
Dave.
It's just not.
Dave, those balls were a practical effect. Do you know how much time it took to build that giant wang and balls?
I'm sorry. I didn't.
That
think
wasn't
about
CG.
it. No, that was real.
Somebody had to painstakingly craft the veins and everything.
Now, did any of the cast members take it home?
Or did Ryan Reynolds just drop by and grab it as it?
Right. He's fine now.
Yeah,
This is going to the next Deadpool movie.
it's like almost a very weird sort of thing because I'd like it better that their smaller episode numbers usually have been better written seasons, but taking 2 to 3 years to come out with the next season is such a long time. It's almost like people could very well lose interest, and I think it's higher quality, but God, you think they could speed it up a little bit because it's like House of Dragon, the same thing. That first season was so great, and now it's been so long. I was like trying to remember what the hell happened on the first season. I'm like, so Matt Smith was cool. I remember that. Okay, yeah, he was great. That old dude was awesome. He did some cool stuff.
Yeah.
But what
They
kid
gotta
died?
come out at
They've
least
done that
once
with
a year.
Rick and Morty a couple of times.
Yeah, Rick and Morty have gone like years between seasons. And
That's why, like,
with
with Mr. Poopy Butthole at the end of the season, be like, I don't know, maybe it'll be here at Christmas or something. Who knows?
maybe not. We don't know. Just
Did
don't
you
go to do something stupid or like a bunch of drugs before the next season.
Did you see what the first episode is called for season 8? I think.
Morty
Like
is season
Mr.
7.
Poopy Butt gets his poop back or something. It is something about Mr. Poopy Butt. So
That's awesome.
we know we're getting
Just poop
a
back.
tremendous first episode of season 8.
Great.
And I did just
Well,
move
it's
this
gotta
over
have
to
Rick and Morty in the title. Rick or Morty is always in the title.
right. It has
How Rick got his poopy butthole back or something, something like that. Well, I heard the voices, and I think we've discussed it on the show. The new voices, they sound good to me.
Yeah, sound good to me too.
Yep. It's hard to for me. I think one of you were saying you could tell the difference. I couldn't tell, or they could tell on Morty. And
I could tell a little bit on Morty, a little bit on Rick here and there, but you really have to be listening for it.
Yeah. If you aren't paying whole attention to it, you won't notice.
There's a couple of times it'd be like, Are they were some of these already recorded by Justin Roiland and they're like using both? And I'm like, is that the new voice actor? Is that Justin Roiland? I'm like, I can't tell.
Or is it AI, stolen from
Oh
real
boy,
voice?
because there was a video that I saw on YouTube that was like they're really keeping it hush hush on who the new voice actors are. I hope they didn't go that route. That seems a little icky to me.
Easy. Yeah.
They better not. I really hope they didn't
'Cause
go that route.
you guys know how I feel about AI.
I will stop watching it. I will march with Sierra at dawn in never watching Rick and Morty again if they did AI voices for it.
Now, you know what would be ironic and funny, and I could totally see Hollywood doing this?
Alanis Morissette doing the voice?
No, if they
Oh, that'd be
use
awesome.
AI to write the next Terminator movie, because you know they're not done making them.
I heard that they got a new person to cast as the Terminator,
I'm sure they do.
The Rock.
Why
Oh my
not?
God, no. Come on.
That's what I heard.
At this point, sure.
It would be nice to get, because weren't they coming out with a Terminator anime for Netflix?
They were supposed to be. I don't know if it is still going to happen or not.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything on it in a while. I'm all for franchises continuing as long as the quality is good.
But like, yeah, try.
Yeah, they've not had a good Terminator movie since 2.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
30 years.
Yeah, I very much remember our timeline to Judgment Day. Yeah, it
oh,
got pretty
man.
bad after 2.
Yes, it did.
Oh, boy. I think I will say that was one of my favorite recording session with you two gentlemen, was talking about Terminator 3 and just the laughable choices that they made for John Connor.
Man, who approved that script?
No idea.
I always think when stuff like that happens, when it's so just terrible, like they went through so many rewrites, nobody knows what the hell was supposed to actually be in the film, and whoever editing, it's like, hey, they're paying me minimum wage. I could give a shit. This one, yeah, that works. Throw that in. Let's do this. We're good. Okay, cut it. We're done. Because
You
man,
know, it's still better than The Predator. That movie that came out like 3 or 4 years ago, The Predator.
Oh
oh
yeah.
yeah, oh
Yeah.
We saw that together,
we
right?
did.
Oh my God, that movie was terrible. They were so lucky to come up with Prey after that, to save that whole series, really.
And they're making a sequel to Prey,
Hmm.
which I hope they are, and I hope it's as good as Prey because Prey was tremendous. Man, that movie. I should watch it again.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched it.
They did a lot of character and plot development with that movie. They took
Yes,
their
they did.
time. And that's what you got to do. Take your time. Make
Mhm.
sure it all makes sense.
I don't think I saw Prey in theaters. I thought I watched it on like Hulu or something.
No, you did. It was never out in theaters.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm like, I don't remember seeing that in theaters.
I would if they ever played it at one, I would go see it there because it was pretty darn good. I'd like to see it on the
Mhm.
big screen.
Sierra
maybe-
says, I think Predator is better than Alien as a series. I
Or
don't
do you
know.
mean just the original Predator movie versus the original Alien?
Well, if she's talking series, I can see the first 2 of each series being good
Mhm.
and then very unsteady after that.
The first Predator is great
It's
just
awesome.
because of all of the little one-liners and all the stuff.
Arnold.
Hey, duck! I ain't got time to duck. You got time to bleed.
Yeah. And it's just that guy who shaves the entire movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean-
the creatures themselves. She thinks the Predator is better than the
Oh.
alien, the
Oh, then
aliens
the-
themselves. Okay.
What
Well,
are the
didn't the
aliens
Predators
called?
create
Xenomorphs.
the aliens?
Did they?
What,
Thought
so
that
they
was
could have
revealed
something
in-
to hunt?
I haven't seen any of the Predator versus Alien movies.
I just
I
knew
did.
one of them took place under Antarctica.
Yep, that was one of the ones that I saw. I don't remember which movie it was, but they revealed that the Predators had genetically created the aliens specifically to hunt them.
That makes sense.
They just
I mean,
kind of lost a few eggs.
They're spread all over the universe. Yeah.
Mhm.
life happens.
Whoops. We made an oopsie goop because there's been a couple of them where the predators have like teamed up with whatever human characters are on just because they're like, yeah, look, we're kind of sorry, we didn't mean for them to get loose here. We created them for us to hunt, so we'll sort of work together with you, but just so you know, I will kill you later.
I did love, I can't remember if it was the first Predator or the second, when one of the trophies was an alien skull. Like the Predator had that as a trophy, and it might have been two. But when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. And then, of course, I'm sure a lot of other people did. And it's like, let's make Alien versus Predator and all that other stuff. Oh,
Palpatine voice.
yep, we got an Emperor Palpatine voice.
Oh, wonderful.
Speak on the topic we're talking about in the Palpatine voice.
And I started the clock.
Okay. All right. All right. Gotta get the Palps. Gotta get the Palps. Come on. How does Palpatine sound again?
Good
It's been too long. I gotta dig through the file cabinets.
Well, Anakin.
Well, Anakin, have you ever heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? No, Master, I haven't heard of that story. Please tell me about it.
That didn't sound like Palpatine. That second part.
That was Anakin. Oh boy.
I didn't know there were comics for Predator.
There's comics for Aliens too. I haven't read it myself, but I always thought the first Alien is just a tremendous movie. I mean, they really did a good job of just making them horrifying. You know, just
the second one was amazing with
Yep.
all those guys in it. Michael Bihn's in it. Paul Reiser. Who's that guy that died that was so played Hudson? Bill Paxton.
Yep.
They're like, what are we gonna do now, man? What are we gonna do? I don't know. Put some stones together. We'll start a fire. We'll sing camp songs. Such great scenes with that guy. Why don't you put her in charge?
But I'll definitely check out some of the Predator comics if you say they're pretty good. I'm always looking for new stuff. They really do go in depth about Alien and Predator and how they have been fighting for thousands of years. They have female predators, chief predators. It's awesome. Oh, sounds good.
Do they speak English?
Hearing more about their society would be kind of a cool thing, because all we know is that, you know, some of them go on these sort of hunts to hunt, you know, Arnold and not Clubber Lang, but
Yeah, Action Jackson.
Action Jackson, Apollo Creed. That's what I was looking for.
Apollo, yes. Either way, we're still not using his real name.
Yes.
Grief Karga. Any
I wish-
more?
I wish I could remember his name from Arrested Development. I think he was actually playing himself.
Oh, Carl Weathers.
Yeah, I think he was.
What do you think about that, Palps?
I think that you should execute Order 66.
Wait, don't you mean Order 67?
No, we haven't gotten that far into it, you dirty Jedi.
Besides, that's a Reuben sandwich, and I don't
I
want it.
am the Senate. No, I'm too weak. Ah! Unlimited power. It's those movies, is how I feel about those movies, that they're unlimited power and potential. Those movies are very good.
Oh, that the main thing in Predator is that all the predators.
That
are
the
like
Predator is
teenagers.
a good guy. Yes, I get it. I totally understood that part of the movie.
He's a
We haven't even
protagonist.
seen what the adults can do. They're probably as powerful as you, Emperor Palpatine.
No. No one knows true power of the dark side of the Force.
But what if a chief did? What if the
Ours?
chief predator did?
Yes, I sense their anger. I feel their hatred.
Isn't that how
Yeah.
they get power?
Unlimited power.
You gotta
Now.
you send mixed signals here,
He-
Palps.
Strike me down and take my place.
Whoa, I ain't trying to strike you down. We're just trying to have a
Strike me down
conversation.
now, Keith. I owe
don't
so
wanna do
much
what
money.
you
Strike
do.
me down.
I don't want to take your
They're
place.
coming
You
for
do
me,
your thing,
Keith,
I'll do
hurry.
mine.
I don't want to hide people in my basement, lock them up, and replace them with scrolls. Which honestly, that script is still better than what we got in Special Investigation. Just
Yes, we should write for Marvel, for the Marvel TV shows. We need to show them how it should have properly been done. You see, they didn't have enough planning involved. They should have done like me, where it is a very good plan that I thought of from beginning to end. You see, in case people were not aware, here was my very well thought out plan. You see, what I did was I tricked the Trade Federation into forming a blockade around Naboo in hopes that the Queen of Naboo would be a little upset about it, and she would be so upset that she would force a vote against Chancellor Valorum, and then of course they would have to vote me in as the new Chancellor. I knew this would all happen. You know, nothing was left up to chance. There was no way they were going to pick anyone else, like the one ET alien that was there. They weren't going to pick anybody else. It was me. They were totally going to vote for me. None of this was left up to chance.
Did you use the dark side to get Jar Jar to nominate you for the Chancellor position?
No. That was completely random. I didn't even. Jar Jar was just an idiot, a lovable idiot. Great guy. No, it was supposed to be Queen Amidala. But yeah, thanks, Jar Jar. Good job,
you
buddy.
didn't realize that Jar Jar is still plotting right now?
Yeah. And your 5 minutes is up, done.
Oh, good.
And he's got ideas that you might not be comfortable with.
You know, some say that Jar Jar Binks is secretly my former master in a new body.
Ooh. Plagueis? Jar Jar Plagueis?
You know, some say that he knew how to save the living from dying. But ironically, he couldn't save himself. I killed him, in case you didn't catch that. I know.
I did.
I kept that pretty well hidden.
Well, that's pretty clever. Great wordplay.
I know. I'm very clever.
All right, let's get out of tangent time. Let's rate the first 3 episodes.
Oh, all right. Wait, you said rate the first 3, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks like I've got to do an all.
RATE.
All right.
You can start the timer, Keith. Oh, sorry, Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh, nice. It's been saving up gems.
Way to go, Nysith. You're saving your channel points, your Infinity Stones, so you can make us do these voices. Thank you so much. I'm going to remember this on Wednesday. Can't wait to talk to you about the Ahsoka season finale. We're going to add a voice for you to do. And I got like 90,000 Infinity Stones saved up. So thank you. We appreciate it.
You had better be careful on Wednesday. We're going to tag team you. We're all going to get you at the same time.
Maybe you should clarify that statement a little bit, Dave, because I don't know what you're thinking.
I don't know why you went that way with it. I wasn't saying that. That's your mind.
My mind is in the gutter. You all know that. Come on.
I'll be right back. I need to go get an absolutely drink.
Oh, absolutely going to drink this right here.
I appreciate getting some warm diet or 0 sugar 7-Up in my throat because it was starting to get scratchy from talking like this because it can happen. So thank you, Doug. I'm happy, and it's not diet 7-Up anymore. Everything is 0 sugar. Trying to capitalize on the whole no sugar fad. Just call it diet. I know I'm drinking aspartame. I want to see if it can kill me faster than I can do it myself. For the love of God. Oh no, Nysith says he still has more stones. We had better be nice. At least for now. We'll be good, Nysith. We promise.
We need to get out the... Excuse me. We need to get out of here and fast.
Should we head for the chopper?
We got to get to the chopper now. Get out of here.
Probably the best plan you've ever had, Arnold.
Did you know they made a drink after you?
I wish we could tell that joke on this channel, but we really can't, Dave. I'm glad he's laughing. That makes me happy because sometimes when I do this voice, I'm like, am I being extra annoying? Because I love Gilbert, but does everybody? Who knows? They should.
And you can't do for just $17.95.
That's what everybody likes. Maybe next week, for those of you that don't know, next Sunday is my birthday. I'm gonna be a very young 53. And I think maybe I'll play the cameo of Gilbert Godfrey that one of my ex-coworkers got me. Maybe that'll be a good thing to play at that point. We can talk Gen V episode 4 and then maybe play Gilbert Godfrey. And yeah, thank you for the happy birthday. And I'm not the scroll, Keith. I'm the real Keith.
Next week, we will have the Loki to talk about as well.
I totally forgot. We're getting the first episode of Loki next week. Great call, Arnold. Thank God you're here. Because I thought.
And what day is that dropping again, Gilbert?
The premiere of Loki is October 5th at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Be there or be square. That's what we always say.
Will we be recovered from the season finale of Ahsoka yet? Will we be able to concentrate on the Loki show?
Probably not. We're going to be so blown away by the series finale of Ahsoka, where Sabine's true colors finally come out. She saves Ahsoka. She saves the galaxy. She saves Ezra. She saves some Purgles. She is crowned Queen of the Galaxy.
And you know who still doesn't like her? Sierra will still not like her.
That's who I was trying to rabble-rouse with that whole speech. I can see her furiously typing right now, putting me in a cage and just being upset.
So some obscenities about Sabine right there. I'm not sure why.
She's made some mistakes, but she's not the worst. So she put the whole galaxy at risk, bringing Thrawn back. But Ezra's such a happy guy. And there's our bell to end the 5 minutes. Oh. Thank you, Nasif. But before we went into that,
now that Ezra Bridger has been in this other galaxy for 12 years, practicing the Force so much that he's not worried about facing somebody with a lightsaber. Does that make him more powerful than Luke?
You said more powerful than Luke?
Yeah. Because he faces Sith or Darksiders with with their lightsabers, and he doesn't even need a lightsaber himself. Does that make him stronger?
I still think two things on that. I think he would have taken a lightsaber if he didn't think Sabine needed it more than him. But I don't think he's more powerful than Luke. I think
we haven't seen him force project himself across the galaxy yet, so I think that that took some serious power on Luke's end.
And I think that a lot of the stuff, I think we saw when he was fighting Shin, that he hasn't faced another Force user in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't.
Yeah, when he had that doofy face when she threw him into the I don't want to call it a tank, I guess the shell house. He kind of got him. He was like, "Whoa, that hurt."
Hey,
I was supposed to do that to you.
What happened?
What happened?
All right. Let's rate these.
Said we were going to rate.
Yes.
Okay.
You want me to go first? I'll go first.
Oh yeah, go
You want
first,
me
Dave. No, go ahead.
Okay. Overall, I'm not going to pick apart the episodes. I think we already did. And with my overall enjoyment of it, I actually fell asleep in part 3. So sorry. I want to like it. I do. I'm just at this point, I'm going to keep watching it, but I'm going to rate it a 6. Just above average because it's got that boys element to it. But other than that, average for me.
Well, I'll go ahead and go next, and I will just add one more thing. I'm just going to reiterate that I do have my nitpicks for it. There are, while I am enjoying it, and I am going to go back and continue watching it, I do have my issues with it, and I pointed those out. The tonal whiplash is kind of throwing me off. The fact that they can't seem to decide, do they want to be a full-on, boys type series, or do they want to have more serious dramatic moments? They can't seem to decide which they want, and I think the shift between the two is too much for a show like this to handle. I don't know if it has the balls to be able to do it. I don't know that it can do something that can pull something off like that accurately. So honestly, I have to be around in the same area as Dave. It is just slightly above average for me. I'm going to give it a 6.5 because it's good, but it has issues. And I wish it didn't. I wish it didn't have those issues. I wish that I was able to sit back and watch it and enjoy every aspect of it like I do with the boys without having to nitpick, because I fail to think of too many moments when I'm watching the boys where I'm nitpicking elements of how it's made, whereas this one I am. It's so much so that I literally had to sit down and keep taking notes because I'm like, that was weird. That didn't feel normal. That was an odd transition.
See, I did enjoy these first 3 episodes. Like I said earlier, first one I'm glad they showed 3, because after the first one I was kind of like,
Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. And I think I got a little more into it. The one, like the jumping, the tone jumping really didn't bother me too much. I thought they were trying to do something a little bit different from the boys. Once again, they could screw this up. They didn't want to be exactly like the boys. They have some elements, and then they're trying to keep it serious. The only, like, my biggest nitpick for this whole thing, and I didn't even talk about what we were talking about, and it was in my notes, is, the boys always seems to be subvert all genres. And it seems to be, borderline satire on all the superhero shows in this. And this almost feels like, I kind of hinted at this, it almost feels like they're doing a Nancy Drew episode or a series where it's these kids are needing to solve this mystery. And it's kind of conforming to a genre, which I didn't really expect out of in the boys universe. I really expected
that's what I was saying too. And there are some moments in the series where it feels like they're taking themselves too seriously, whereas the boys, they don't
at all. You're absolutely
at all.
Right.
It's just nonsense every minute. It doesn't stop.
And I think if they can do a good job with it, I think this could be, a good entry into the boys universe. But I think after the, first 3, I'm with Doug. It's a 6.5. It's a little better than average. I'm not disliking it when I'm watching it. I'm enjoying it most. There's occasional things like that. But, overall, it's got some potential. I'm hoping it continues to, move upward. But, it's not the boys.
I like that. It has some potential.
It needs a butcher type character.
It really could use a butcher. You're not wrong.
I think it could use a Huey.
It could use
a
Huey, too.
Something to ground it a bit.
You're both right.
It needs both. It needs a butcher and a Huey.
That's why the boys work so well, because it has a butcher and a Huey.
Somebody extreme and over the top, and somebody to kind of ground them and bring them back to reality.
And like you said, be the audience in the show where they're like, "What is going on? Oh my God, what the hell?
This shouldn't happen." I've got a piece of his toe in my mouth.
I accidentally swallowed her tooth.
And don't forget to hit us up at Twitter, leave a comment down below, and we will see you next time on Not Your Status Quo.